What is happening, JOM? What is happening, everybody? Welcome and welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. This is Arts of the Round Table. My name is Mello. It is Wednesday, July 29th. It is 3 p.m. in the afternoon, my afternoon. And below that, some more. I hope you guys are doing well. What's up, JOM? How you doing? How you doing? I won't be finishing this up, but this is what I was working on earlier today. My homage sounds like a French cheese, right? Homage to Batman Nightfall, the pinnacle event in Batman's lexicon when he gets his back broke. And I was just messing around with composition and dynamic composition, trying to, and perspective. So what I've done, I drew this arm yesterday. I started drawing Batman today. I added a bit of background here for stalactites for the Batcave. Batman is hunched over. He's getting his lunch taken from him by Bane. His face is beat up. You can see some of the bruising on his face. Let me see. Can you guys see that better? Anyway, so we're gonna set that aside because maybe I'll finish it throughout the week. Maybe we can try to finish it for Freeform Friday. But I'm digging the building. I'm digging the the struggle. I'm having a hard time trying to figure out what to do with the lower half of our hero here because he's hunched over. So I'm having a bit of figure drawing issues, but that's okay. I'm enjoying the process so far. So let me put my pencils away. I got my wet palette ready to the side here. Let's set this over. But yeah, ain't not too shabby, I think. We getting there. We getting there. This is what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be doing some painting. These are my original characters, my own characters. This is Ifo. This is her brother Anix, and you can tell just from what an hour difference would make. It took me about an hour to draw her. I was in the zone. I was feeling it. And there's not much detail. All my work was really here, and then I smudged the heck out of everything. But I took about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add the underpainting using burnt sienna, basic acrylic fluid. All right. I have a weird angle. I got two cameras going, so forgive me if I don't get to show you guys all in one shot. But yeah, that's what we're using. And then, and I think, yeah, let's just work on that. So we were talking about today in this morning's workshop. I'm going to use a little because I've been realizing that a little goes a long way. We were talking about composition, dynamic composition, and perspective. That's what we was talking about earlier in that Batman Bane drawing. And I wanted to continue that conversation while painting portraits. All right, bud, here we go. This I always love this part. This is the what's the word I'm looking for? The bravery test. This is usually, we're going all in right now. I love this piece, but the goal is to be a better painter. And to do so, you gotta paint. Here we go. I love already how rich. Burnt sienna must be one of my favorite colors. And this is just diluted. My brush is very wet. The pencils have been preserved using fixative. And this regular pencil, I used an HB and a 2B pencil with a little bit of 4B, I believe. I want to use up that little dot of paint. I tell you right now, this color, these washes do a lot of the heavy lifting on my paints. It already adds atmosphere, it adds warmth, it adds a layer of just mystery and realism. Almost feel like leaving them this way sometimes. Hey, I painted it. One color, paint it. But no. I'm going to put some work in this. Alright, that should be enough. This is going to be pretty easy to clean off. A little squirt of water and a paper towel. So, I won't be nerding it up with you guys about composition and dynamic composition and perspective, but I wanted to bring up these pieces because although they're simple in terms of composition, it's just a regular photo or a regular portrait. There's storytelling going on there, and hers as well. She's dead center on the page. She's going to be the one we're painting today. I'm going to put him to the side. But she's dead center, and the only dynamic piece about this is that her sword is at an angle. So there's story here. He's the one at an angle, so he's mysterious. Well, that's the goal, right? This should dry up pretty quick. All right. Put that here. Hopefully you guys can see the whole thing. So when I say water or wet palette, this is what I'm talking about. It's just a sponge in a watertight, airtight container and this wet palette paper. This will allow me to use very little of paint, but make it go a long way. Keep it pigmented, which is important. One of the things that I've suffered and experienced throughout my my journey here, my gouache painting journey, is my room is very warm. I live down south, so my room is very warm. I got a fan on. It's warm outside. It is currently 97 degrees. So I'm gonna focus on her sword. So that's what we're going to do. That's going to be our focal point, and then towards the eye. So I'm going to use some square brushes and some angled brushes. Those are usually the things the brushes I use the most. And the ones I use, even for the face, anything organic, it doesn't matter. I usually use these filbert brushes to do my blending. We'll be using that later. All right. I didn't want to do that, but I did it anyway. Let's go. What's up, Ike? How you doing, brother? I got Tema in the background, watching her do her stream. Give me 1 second. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. I'm gonna try to keep as much of the I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna let the background do a lot of heavy lifting here, so. Yeah, me as well. Support my peoples, man. Support my peoples. Sorry guys, on the mobile app stream, it might be, you might get some glare. Let me see if I can. I might have to keep it this way for now until we start putting paint on it. All right, palette is ready. My proverbial steel color is going to always be some blues, some whites. I'm going to use a bit of brown. Why not? But that's pretty much it. Why brown? We'll see how that looks. I just want it to have a little bit of earthiness and so it can pop. I'm running out of my favorite color here, which is vermilion, but I don't think I'll be using vermilion for the sword. I will need black, I will need white. Use up this paint. No, the paint, this gouache paint will not run down the surface. I don't paint that watery. It's pretty thick the way I use it anyway. DWT. How are you, sir? Welcome back. Some black. Yeah, when I was using watercolor, I'm trying to think if I see, the thing about watercolor with me is that I don't appreciate its chaos, especially when you're trying to get really good at it. You're supposed to embrace that chaos. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Alright, those are my colors: white, black, ultramarine, what's the other one? Basic? Is it basic? No, what's it called? Primary blue, and my favesies, burnt sienna. But I'm only going to use that a little bit. I'm going to tone it down a bit. But no, the paint will not run. Not the way I use it, even if it's a little bit watery. There's enough grit in here. Let me close my shades. That might be a bit more helpful. Now I got glare from now I got glare from up there, but if I tilt it, they will come. I think that'll work, right? I think it'll work. Let's just go. What are you guys saying here? Paint? No, I returned, tried it. Yeah, DW says, good things. Had not planned on drawing today. Haven't in over a week. Yeah, your drawing already got those energies going, and I drew a portrait, so thank you. No. Thank you, bud. I'm so excited to start breaking stuff. Alright, so this is already dry. That's what I love about this. One thing that's beneficial about living in this dry, in the dry heat. I like this thing already. This is what I ended up doing with that Batman Bane. In the meantime, DW, I unbroke his arm. I put some batarangs in there. He's ready for some fisticuffs. Added a bit more bruising on his face. Added some stalactites in the beginnings of the bat cave. I'm gonna add some railings and stuff like on the side to emphasize how tight the area is and give some weight. But that's for another day. I just wanted to share with you. But yeah, man, I would love to see the portrait. I would love to see what you guys do. If you guys do. All right. JOM says he loves watercolor chaos. He's an agent of chaos. You like this? Yes. All right. Yeah, I gotta give props to Ike. Ike is bouncing back and forth like watching a tennis match between this and Tema, our friend Tema's live stream, brother. And I appreciate you. I gotta make sure that I let her know. All right, let's mix some grays. I'm always going to need more white paint, no matter what. And a little dash of that brown. What I like about adding a smidge of warmth, that's the technical term. A smidge of warm color over cold colors, like blues or grays. What is happening? Is how it adds dimension to it. I'm just looking for a spatula here. I got art gremlins in my office, man. I'm losing everything. White gouache is the most used color. All right. I just found the small spatula I was looking for. I called it a spatula. It's a putty knife. Painting. Yeesh, no matter how often or how much I try to get things ready, I'm never ready. 20 minutes. Let's put some paint on this thing. That's not bad. Let's see what it looks like. That looks good to me. And I'm going to try to use kind of like what I did with Megatron. Just use chaotic brush strokes, but I'm going to use it in this I want to keep my brush strokes to mimic the angle of the sword. Just adding a little bit more black. And these small variations of the same gray emphasizes as a bit more variety. That's what we're looking for, right? Variety being the spice of life. And at any point I can go darker. I'm just trying to find steel, the riddle of steel. So, how are you guys doing today? You guys may be wondering, what does composition have anything to do with, or perspective, with these portraits? Well, you got some attitude, mister. I'm gonna start opening and closing this simply because I got my fan going on. I have my black and white drawing open in front of me, because I have already lost a ton of my tones. You drawing Mr. Bean? I love Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkins. You think you might have some art gremlins? Yeah, man. I know I do. I know they're somewhere. I'm sure it's just me. 100%. It's me. I gotta remember, when you're using a wet palette like this, you don't need to really moisten your brush. A good cleaning, wipe it off, and go in here. The sponge underneath and the paper will keep your paints relatively moistened. I don't want to use too much black early, so I'm going to tone it down. And use some grays instead. Yes, so it takes a bit getting used to. I can go darker than that, but that's okay. That just means I can go lighter around it. What was I talking about? White palette, compositions. I'm trying to lighten up some of this burnt sienna. well, trying to retain that color. I could probably go lighter, or maybe even use a yellowish tone instead than the brown, because the brown didn't really add as much as I thought. It's all trial and error. Good thing about this, like I've said a bunch of times, nobody can tell me it's wrong because I'm the nobody that can say it's wrong. I knew this was going to happen. Okay, so give me 1 second, gents. I'm using an old phone and it just died. So if you give me 1 hot second, I'm going to see if I can stop it and recreate another one. And it won't let me cancel it. Ain't that something? Because my phone died while recording it, it's stuck. Okay. Oh my goodness. Everybody's making noise. Vertical. Flam flam. All right. Let's see if that works. Yep. Come on. Okay. Vertical stream is up again. All right. Let's keep going. But now I have a stream that's going on. I'm just going to have to delete it because my phone is dead anyway. Oh well. That's terrible. Tell me when I say it's warm in here, it's warm in here. All right. No harm, no foul. We back in business. See, art gremlins, tech gremlins, One thing that I give credit to my previous job, I used to be in IT for about 15 years. Started as just at the desk as an EA, not even an EA, yeah, an EA for the director, the assistant director. Then became a tech, and then went into purchasing. That there is no panic, and we went through so many tech gremlins during board meetings and all of that stuff, and so on and so on. And people would blame us for everything, for all the technology woes. It's always IT's fault, to our face, while we are helping. So, no panic, man. Just do it. Just do your job. Let somebody else panic. Let somebody take over the responsibility of panicking. But you, the tech, you don't let them see you sweat. Never let them see you sweat. I had it is great but stressful. It is stressful. You can't let them sweat. You can't let them see you sweat. One of the things that I used to get I felt it was like this. Especially when it came to people, the way they used to criticize us and whatever it was. Always threatening with outsourcing and all that stuff. We were always there on the spot. Office calls, house calls, no less. And during COVID, we help keep that place running. I don't care what they say. And beyond. And beyond. But when this, it was a non-profit organization, so when this, our current administration in DC deemed it that instead of being adults and taking care of the ones that were, if they were even any fraud. I've never seen adults just because of a bad apple burn down the whole orchard the way this administration did to thousands of federal employees or non-profit organizations that were federally funded. What can you do? What can you do? Anyway, that was a sad dovetail into my past. But no, yeah, you can't panic. I feel like throwing some greens in here. I want to throw some greens. I think I'm gonna do it. Why not? Just a hint. You just need something extra. And I'm only getting those vibes because of the Megatron piece that I did and the Doom piece. it just adds so much life when you start mixing and adding these colors. One thing that I have been trying to do more often is look deeper into certain pictures and certain things. To see colors that are hidden. What do I mean by that? When you look at someone's face or a picture of a face, unfortunately, us as artists, when we begin, all we see is we're the flesh tone crayon. There's no such thing as that type of crayon color in life. Some maybe. But yeah, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. It's when we start adding these other colors, they go, man, there's green in there, there's red, right? In portraiture, it's yellow on the forehead, red in the mid part of the face, and blue for the shadow on below the chin, or in that area down there. All right, where am I? I need a lighter. I'm trying to get something a little bit better than that. That is an intense and warrior-tested look on her face. Yes, indeed, my friend. These kids have had to deal with some stuff in life. When they were young, they seen their mom and dad sacrifice and fight for their safety, get Disneyed. This story takes place about 10 years later, after that tragic event. But these are extreme hero shots. This is just pieces for me to keep an eye on. They can keep an eye on me when it comes to telling their story. All right. This, in fact, is her father's sword. Which she has dubbed Valkyrie's Embrace. I can already tell what that means. Why is her sword drawn? Like I said, these are just hero shots. This is just this isn't story driven imagery or anything at this point. These are just kind of like the Marvel playing cards. So these are just images for me to get them out of my head. And what's cool about that question, my friend, is that Why do you think? Why do you think her sword is drawn in this piece? But yeah, that's all. These are just hero shots. I'm gonna do most, if not all, of the main characters. I'm gonna try to within the next couple of weeks, while I tighten up my story. See, I don't want that. One thing that's difficult with these canvases is trying to remain smooth, which is what I want. So I'm gonna just wet my brush, keep it damp so I can blend these colors to a better gradient, and that allows for the other colors to bleed into themselves. There you go. Might be. You see, and considering it's her father's sword, I don't think he would have named it Valkyrie's Embrace. That's something that has I guess emanated with her. These kids, as they were growing up, they've had to be tested. So the last time they saw their parents, they saw their mom die. And the last thing they saw of their dad was him fighting off a horde of enemies and telling them to run away. And that was it. They don't know if he passed. They don't know if he lived. Something that they've had to live with for over 10 years. And now that they're old enough, strong enough in their minds, that's a mystery that no one can stop them from trying to ask questions anymore. They've earned the respect of their village, and now it's time for them to search out what happened. Human. And there are stuff in here, trolls, beasts of that nature, but no, these are villages after villages, and although there is magic, there's not conjuring or anything like that in my story. It's just the only thing that has any type of mystical energy in that sense, or just is these gems that the heroes have. There's a stone or a mineral in this world called benison, which means grace. So they're grace stones. And when they're uncorrupted, they help with focus, that type of stuff. They're medicinal. They're like the MacGuffin of this world. So when it's pure, it's benison, it's grace, it's helpful. When it's corrupted, it's brimstone. It's still medicinal, but you could become addicted to its properties. It helps heal, or gives you the illusion that your body's healing. It gives you strength for periods of time. Think of it as the all drug, like a steroid or a morphine. It also brings out the worst. It makes you forget how much you hate the worst of yourself. Makes you forget. Think of it like alcohol or any type of drug that's at first is social, but then abused and can become overpowering, changing the nature of yourself. There's characters in here later on that I will draw to deal with addiction and recovery, that type of stuff, and having to make amends to certain people. The story, the basis of the story, the heart of the story is mainly about the paths we choose, or paths that are chosen for us, decisions that we make. Some decisions we make that other people have to, the paths that we that put in front of us that other people must take because of decisions we make. And I mean, history, you know how they say about, what is it, history? I can't remember the expression about the history in Victor. So, but yeah, the whole thing is about finding truth, finding closure, finding purpose. The illusions of those things. Yes, thank you. Now, Grace Stone is green. I didn't intend it to look like a question mark, but there we are. Just adding some grays and blues back here to look like it's a cloak and shadow. Just trying to add bits of variety and texture. The whole point is to trick the eye to seeing something. What's up, Saboteur? Saboteur. Hold on, brother. Let me, because you lazy. Let me get you that link, bro. Let me get you that link. Well, how you doing, Sabo? Happy Wednesday, man. For the full desk experience. Full desk experience. Yeah. So yeah, man. So that's kind of cool. I'm not trying to exploit tropes or that type of stuff. I'm just trying to tell a story that is honest to me. So that has a bit of everything, stuff that we all grew up watching, but also stuff that I've seen happen and have seen people experience and struggle with. Not to exploit, obviously. Just letting you guys know, the first time I started putting this story together, it was just the story about their dad, and these kids were going to perish. They were going to perish. The story was going to be a revenge story. It was going to have no dialogue. It was going to be a revenge story. Their father following a trail to the people that did it, to the tribe, the warring tribe that did it, that killed them. And that it was going to be a vicious cycle. Because at most things that have violence involved, it's a cycle of either ignorance or just So the kids, at first I started to try to make it as brutal and as possible. But I'm a dad. I couldn't do that. I couldn't have kids dying, no matter how angry or how, what would I have done, the type of viciousness that I would have put on people to avenge them. So I killed the dad instead. Or implied it. Bum, bum, bum. And Disney'd the mom. Let me see. I need to get... Is this burnt sienna? Yeah. Let's see if I can get a brown. Need some variety here. The one thing about these Artezas is that they dry up in the tube pretty good. All right, that's done. That's toast. I guess I could try to mix a brown. This earth yellow is my favorite color, as you can tell. But I'm glad. I'm so happy that I've been using these up. It is time. I think that's the same. That looks like the same. So, she's older than her brother, so she has put it upon herself to be that protector, that overbearing almost protector. Kind of. That's what I wanted. And I think maybe because I grew up with two older sisters, one more overbearing than the other. But Claire put this out there also. These aren't created or a reflection of anyone that I know. These aren't my sisters, not my brother, not my kids. Even though I think that her brother looks a lot like my youngest son. But no. Nothing like that. That's her braid. Does my son think he looks like him? No, I actually think he looks like my son. No, actually, I don't. I'm gonna have to ask him. I'm just mixing the blues with my browns, just so I can get a more, a better shadow, a more, what's the word, a complementary shadow, and not just putting black, even though I might just put black over it. I think the way I drew, I gotta remember when I'm drawing in graphite, my only The only drawback is that it's all in tone. Trying to translate those tones to color. So I'm trying to stay, excuse me if I can just speak for a second, neutral in certain things and just familiar with certain things and certain color notes. So, and character, she's not gonna be the type to be like, dye hey, do me a favor and dye that wolf pelt, please. No. Or that sheep, the goat, whatever it is, cow. Honey, we got cows. She's just gonna be like, tan that bad boy, put it on me. I might have to begin working up here. So the note really is, I've been trying to, what am I thinking about here? Thank you for knowing the reference first, dang. I've been saying, honey, we got cows. Honey, we got cows. Ever since we've seen that movie. What am I thinking about? So, I've been staring at all of these pulp cover and all of these painted covers, and the one thing that I've noticed the most is their beautiful play between warm and cold colors, muted colors. I got some, obviously, you guys already know, I got all of these Conan books and stories that beautifully painted, and some of them are just in those two notes of cool and warm, and just the pulp covers, they just pop. It just makes it look that way. So that's gonna be the goal. Cool over here, fire. 90% of your dialogue was, see, that's why we're friends, bud. Now for him, it's gonna be the same. Flame warm color here. His face is going to be a lot warmer. So we'll see how we play with that. So she has a braided tiara with the gem. He has his hair is braided on the sides and it ties up at the back. So he has a gem on the back of his head, which makes him, because of that gray stone, it makes him, it protects his frame of mind and his thinking a bit more. She has it in front, because she's a tank, she's always going forward. He doesn't mind standing back and assessing the situation. That was the idea. We coming along though, we coming together. Seguimos. Seguimos, it just means let's continue. My dog agrees. I think the hardest part is going to be trying to figure out the color scheme. Bigger brush. Same rules apply. I don't mind doing bloobs and blobs like that. Because it helps me when I start adding the black here. It is pretty heavy, so I'm going to be able to mix it. Wipe off the excess. clean my brush. Now I'm gonna mix it. And it'll subdue that gradient a bit. Oh, that harsh blue that I laid down, and it'll blend a bit better, a bit smoky back there. I'm gonna have to paint over the strands of hair because I don't have that precision. I'm gonna add a bit more of the blue. And you see how it's not even as bright as it looked earlier? It's still a good layer of black paint. This is something that I discovered doing, one, by watching Ruth Wilshaw, and also while doing my Swamp Thing painting. I like it. I like that ethereal blue. It doesn't even look real. All right, I'm gonna add some fire here. Or at least a better glow, something that stands out, but maybe not too extreme. It's gonna be a bit more. I'm gonna use these light parts here. Use the gradient in my brush because it's not mixed 100%. Mix it with that blue. A bit more here. Sorry if I get quiet. Freaking soundtrack's a banger. That is her jacket. One thing that I encourage, if you're going to be using gouache, clean your brush often. Don't do what I just did. I thought I was going to grab a bit more of the vermilion to add some brightness, and instead I just dirtied it with the color I had on my brush. So, clean your brushes, people. You get excited and just start painting a little willy-nilly. All right. she's not on fire, so I don't want it to look that way. All right. There is a scene, now that JOM brought it up, why she has her sword drawn. There is a scene in my story about in the second act, where the titular ghost of Arlan attacks or mysteriously attacks our village. And our heroine here is between him or it and her brother or people. All right, now clean. So what I'm doing when I clean my brush, when I'm gonna do that blend like I did over here, I've cleaned my brush, I've dampened it off, and I'll brush it on my palm like this. Now you may not see it, but if there's a lot of if you see a streak of wetness, can't really see it on camera, but I can see it. Then I know it's just enough. What is going on, Saboteur? How you doing, bud? I think this side is gonna need a little bit more black, but we'll see how this mixes together. I might have to let this dry. Alright, so because I went from the dark down, I do not want to muddy up my brightness down here. So I clean my brush, check the moisture check. Now I'm going to blend these a bit. And once I have this the way I want it, then I can move it up because it'll purify. All right. So, not bad. We are cooking with fire, y'all. Sometimes it was good to, what is good was helping me. These pieces aren't very big. This is 8 by 10. The vision I have is extremely clear. I'm just trusting what I see in my mind, trusting the colors I have on my palette, and just going nuts with it. Thank God I did the Doom and the Megatron recently, so the steel stuff, which is usually very difficult for me, chrome, metal, that type of texture, I'm proud of that. I'm happy with that. I am just kind of like absorbing what I've been reading and putting it into practice in terms of folds. Been a lot of studying with these. I'm trying to see if any of that stuff is sticking to my head. It seems to be doing the job. Let's go. I'm going to paint now the whites of her eyes. I don't think I'll be finished with this today for this workshop, but we shall see. Just letting you know, the whites of the eyes aren't always white. If you're going to be painting, try a light blue, try a gray if you wanted to. Just don't make it white. Not yet. So I'm using kind of like a, what is that? Like a grayish, light grayish color. It's got a bit of green and blues in there. Huh. It actually looks green. It is green. It was green. Who's dang it? Oh, my man. Appreciate that, dude, man. Chat room. Oh, really? Looks like you have a real handle on the metal. Such a great tale. Oh, thanks, man. Like I said, I try not to do. How can I put this? I'm trying to help myself here. I know some of my videos and some of my drawing videos or my pieces may seem like they're not connected, and sometimes they're not. You go, oh, he draws DC, he draws Marvel, he draws image, he draws whatever. Sometimes he does a portrait, sometimes he does figure drawing, sometimes everything that I've been trying to do is all leading here to the paints, to the storytelling. It has to, right? I'm going a little early putting in these highlights in the eyes, but sometimes you just need a win. You just need something that's fully rendered to put you in the right place. You know what I'm saying? You guys feel me? And in the eyes, when you're doing the eyes, so just trying to let y'all know nothing is random. Let me see if I can get you guys a closer look. Amazing how much the eye highlights add. Yeah, and look, it's just, see if I can help out here. Gray tone and a little, and not even pure white, just enough. And one of the coolest things about gouache is you don't have to keep going back to your brush. You can just keep as long as it dries, the next layer will be brighter and more vibrant, pigmented. It just takes time. My son is losing his mind up there. I'm trying to draw the lower eyelid. That will dry a bit better. Okay. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't know. Does it look weird to you guys? Is it the angle? I'm looking at it here at my table. I'm looking at it in my playback screen, so I have to be careful of that because sometimes I will... What the hell, man? Judge it by how I see it incorrectly, if that makes sense. Some rim lighting back here. Oh, you can hear him? I'm gonna let him know. I also trying to figure out the color of this young lady's hair. All right, I think it's enough freaking out here. It's time to start painting. I'm going to see how much of the established colors on my palette I can use to paint her face. The great thing about gouache is you can change your mind pretty quickly. What is this? Primary and medium yellow. Let's see. You know what I really need to do is get back into using the Zorn palette. So what I'm doing while I'm over here quiet is I'm creating a palette for the skin tone. If I'm going to be introducing fire or anything, I need that type of intensity. So this is going to be a rim edge lighting. And then flesh tone and a little bit of that edge lighting mixed in here. So it's going to be more intense, shadow intensity, flesh tone. Learning about the Zorn palette was really cool. It is, man. It's one of the... I had no idea. But it is really good. Oh, man. I should have cleaned my brush. Gotta remember to clean your brush. I'm gonna go this way. Well, there's only way to find out how this is going to work. Yeah, I would love to do more Zorn palette stuff. I was using it a lot early on. It's a great base to learn off of. So the one thing, because I'm using, here we go again, this wet palette, I don't need to mix a lot of color, a lot of water into my pigments. So what happens is that they are heavy, meaning you can't really see, they're pretty opaque from the get-go. So I'm losing my line art really quickly here. But we're already past the bravery test, aren't we? I have to trust the marks I put down on my pencils and go from there. Alright, I'm going to add a lighter color, see if I can find it. That's pretty light. And the same way I used that technique for the background, I'm going to use for the face. And let it blend in. Now, the challenge I have is going to be trying not to muddy it up. By over blending. It's hard to see because of my lights. The Zorn palette is amazing for watercolors. Interesting. I never tried it with watercolors. Only with gouache. All right. I think it's okay to put on something a little bit. We don't have to be so intense anymore. Okay. I may have to rebuild the face with paint. Because I can't really see. Much of my colors anymore. But this is so early in the process that there's no need to frig. We'll frig later. I think right now the thing I want to do the most is cover the canvas. You just fill it up. Excuse me. Sorry, you guys and gals. Thank you. Didn't mean to blow your eardrums out. Where the heck is my brush? Found it. Gee. Excuse me. Look like. Mixed a bit of blues on both my blues and some of my the burnt sienna. I'm gonna try to redo the line art on some of the spots that I know is gonna be pure black, or at least dark enough. And problem is my brushes are trash. I need a sharp brush. I really do need to invest on some. Now, I know we always be talking about being frugal, and you should be. When you're practicing and getting your stuff together, frugal it up. Don't spend all your money on stuff that you never use, or you're going to put a stigma on it. Can I see there? You see all the glare? The glare is from the gesso, the smooth gesso. You're going with the dark blue in there. Yeah, one, because it's not, see, even down here, this dark enough. But when I add more black to these, which is why I don't use just direct black or gray, having these other notes gives your shadows, gives your darker notes deeper color. You can still use your blacks in the end, I think. I do. But I would recommend going with a more subdued, sharper color, darker color, with a mix of the colors you already established. The blues, the burnt sienna, and it creates richer, deeper shadows when you start adding I'm trying to go light so that I won't reactivate some of the colors underneath. Also, fellas, watch, if you can, if you have a significant other, watch when they put on their makeup, their mascara, their eyeliner. That's kind of like what you want to do when you do your own character. Think about eyeliner and thinking about shadows, eyeshadow, and all that stuff. Yeah, I need stiffer brushes. These brushes are too soft. They may not be for this type of painting. Yes. Steel mascara brush. I'm always fighting. I'm always thinking about what type of a painter I want to be. In the sense is, do you want to see the outline? Do you want me to paint? If this is me, as I talk to myself. Are you trying to paint the outline, show people the outlines of your artwork? Or are you going to paint it? You going to Alex Ross it? I still don't know what to do. Because we don't really have outlines. We got silhouettes. So I'm still trying to figure out, y'all, what type of which way I want to go. Maybe I could do both and be unique. Both, and be unique. Neither. Neither. All I really want, honestly, what really drove me to the whole painting, there's a lot of stuff, but I wanted to paint the way that I draw. He knew I want to be able to have a style where people can tell who did it by the way it looks painted, drawn, inked, whatever. But isn't that what we all want? It's evening for some, so please enjoy the bedtime jazz as you try to keep your eyes open while watching me paint. Here's Arts of the Round Table. My name is Mello, and have a good night. Growing up in Massachusetts, we had a station, a soft rock station called Magic 106.7, and there was a dude, the late night DJ, his name was David Allen Boucher. And that dude's voice was legit. Putting people to sleep. He used to end his broadcast by going, "I love you so much." I'm like, thanks, man. Thanks, man. One thing that I love about what I learned from inking is using the weight of the brush and line weight and being able to use a rhythmic and brush strokes just with a bit of a little Freudian, with a bit of pleasure, with a bit of pressure. Relax, Mel. Yes, and my friend, it's not even pure black. That's what's really cool about it. That can be the lightest part of the shadow. Later, when I go in with the pure black, as long as I stay within those, inside those shadowy shapes, we're gonna be sweet. It looks very, from my monitor, it looks very almost cell shaded. Ooh, is that, looks like Sansa from Game of Thrones. What? They're brown there? What do you mean on the... in the paint? Yes, blues. 2 blues, some burnt sienna, and that's for the base, and then a smidge of black. The black that I used, even the Winsor Newton black, that's what I'm using there. And no, there has been any black that I've used that has been like, whoa, that's super black. Except for maybe the acrylic black, the acrylic wash, acrylic black, which I don't like because it dries super matte. And I know gouache is matte, but this thing sticks out so much so. Yes. For the skin tone, this is my palette for the skin tone. Some burnt sienna, some blues mixed in there for some shadows. Still use the black. And there's burnt sienna and white. Some vermilion, some medium yellow, some earth yellow in there. And I'm just going back and forth. One of the most amazing things and versatile things with gouache is the way you can layer on top and on top and on top. And although there's these colors underneath, I can go back over and start adding some highlights or even a wash of red and blues and yellows to really add that realistic notes. And be careful, man. Every once in a while, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, if you look at this is the shadow color I've been using, and it may look black on screen, but it's kind of, I don't even know what kind of color that would be. But you can definitely see the blue and the brown in that mix. Like, it's not overpowered. The good thing now is that I can actually, now that I can't see none of my graphite, the graphite on the image. Do I still have it up here? Give me 1 second, y'all. Wait an eternity for this. Which one is this one? There is none. Desktop. Boop, 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 boop. Here we go. That might be a pretty interesting comparison between the two. It's hard to judge them because of the color, but it's hard to see. If I tip it over because of my halo light, you're gonna get some really bad glare. But see how there was really not much detail on her suit? It's just padding and what's the word I'm thinking about? Leathers and just not necessarily armor. That still gives me a level of freedom. I'm glad it's there. So, but not too bad, I think. Not too bad at all. Now I can go back to a bit of the... That's got to be something that's cool. You get to do... I'm more comfortable drawing and a bit of inking. I can use some of that here. The one thing about that I hate to try to do is straight lines. I have terrible shoulders, bad posture, terrible shoulders, cracky knees, clacking wrists. But not too bad. So, ultramarine blue, primary blue. See how it turns the mix more bluish. Add a little bit of that burnt sienna in there to tone it. And then a slight bit of black. Now in this mix, this is what's cool about it. I really don't care about the consistency or the consistent nature of the color. I don't care that this may be a bit browner or the next one will be a bit more bluer. I don't really care. I just need it to set the tone for my shadows. That is her braid. So I'm gonna, same deal here. I'm gonna paint around the braid. Because honestly, I don't know quite what I'm going to do with that yet. Not really following anymore my black and white color, my black and white graphite drawing. I'm just kind of like, I'm still trying to match shadows and tones more than anything, because I think I have a pretty good base. So let me just start dropping the thank yous off right now, man. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me on this Wednesday, on this Hump Day workshop. We did some composition and talking about building up on character and setting up on the page. This a little bit of composition where she is dead center, but the angle of her sword allows for some variety, some conversation of the mind. I don't want to. That's where I don't want so much color. Let me wipe some of this down. But yeah, appreciate you guys. I will see you guys on Friday. Freeform Friday. We'll be doing something. Maybe painting again. Or maybe I'll be finishing up that Batman. We'll figure it out when we get together, right? That's the whole point. Well, I'm glad you was drawing with me. I'm glad you had fun. That's the whole point, I hope. Just a cool place to hang out, talk about art, figure things out, talk about things. And hopefully you guys come out inspired. You guys inspire me. You guys encourage me to get better and do better. So thank you guys. Always. I can't say it enough. I can't emphasize it enough. Without you guys, that would just be me talking into a mic alone. So thank you sincerely. If you guys have anything you guys would like to see me draw, paint, or bring up, leave it in the chat, leave it in the comments, send me a DM. But I think my routine is pretty much set. I think every Monday I'll probably be drawing one of these new characters while I can, as the good Lord willing. Our workshops will be on something that we can work on with a little bit of painting. In case you guys, I'm sure you guys are interested in painting eventually. And then we freeform it up on Friday. Freeform Friday. That's what that stands for. I'm just going to add some of these scratches and scars. I can play with them while they're here. And that's it. I'm going to let the music play me out. Finish up here. Add some colors while I still have it on my palette. Thank you guys for hanging out. This is Arts of the Round Table. This is Arts of the Round Table. My name is Mello. God bless you. I love you. Mean it. And until next time, I will draw you later. Bye.